Okay, now we are into the formal. Please hold for Dave Sim. Where are we here? I got my pages out of order, I think.
We're still on page 1.
What's that?
We're still on page 1 of my facts.
Oh, that's what happened. I turned it over so that I could read my notes. There we are. Thank you. Thank you, Manly Matt, for that.
I only know because I have page 1 printed out so I could do the preamble.
Okay, right. Then we move on to the Manly Matt. Dow doesn't know nothing about this because Dave ain't told him yet, but he's going to tell us all right now, section of the October 2023. Please hold for Dave Sim. And actually, I'm going to turn that around and say, without giving us actual dollar amounts, this is the first Kickstarter where we've got Cerebus and Hell creators doing their own self-published Kickstarters. This time, David Birdsong with the MarvelManVark. I'm going to ask you, Matt. Looking at it, it's just a little past the 1 week mark, so about 1/3 of the way through where we're recording this, and when this is up on a moment of Cerebus, we'll be about halfway through. Do you think, given what you thought was going to happen with the MarvelManVark Kickstarter, do you think that David Birdsong is ahead of where you thought he would be at this point, just about where you thought he would be, or has David Birdsong got some running to catch up, just like the number of units you're supposed to have to be producing at work that you didn't get to?
I know it's fully funded, but I also know that leading up to it, there was discussion of what should the funding goal be, and I think because he had a preview version that people were looking at and proofreading and stuff, and I think the preliminary was like, I want to say like 6,000, and he's like, I'm gonna lower that, and I can't remember if he lowered it to 700 or 2,000, but whatever he lowered it to, it is funded. So the project is go. At this point, it's just the, kicking up support and trying to, beat the drum and trying to get, the highest total we can. I forgot to send it. The banner on A Moment of Service has an image of Service. It's like a head and shoulder shot where he's smiling and his one eye is a swirl. Because it's one of those he was knocked off his game type images, but he's got both ears, and I can never remember where it's from. And I was going to send it to you to see if you went, oh yeah, okay, I know that page, because the swimsuit bondage cover, which has not been revealed yet, as far as I know, it's the image is covered with a Kickstarter K that says censored for grandma. When Birdsong sent the actual cover, I responded with, you got to use that head where Service is obviously into it.
Right.
And it's the emails have been back and forth, and nobody said definitively, oh yeah, we should do that. It's more of a, well, we might need you to find it. And it's like, I can't find where this is from, because every time I look for it, I'm going, it's the iconic Service in the vest with the medallions, both ears. My brain keeps going, no, this has to be from Guy's or Rick's story where he's shocked at something somebody says. I'm like, but he's got both ears. It's got to be before Reed's, and it's one of those, it's this circular thing of there's like 3,000 pages in the first half of the phone books. It's got to be one of them. It's kind of a needle in a haystack. But
right.
Jesse Herndon asked about, because Birdsong threw on the Harper's Bazaar Service the Emily variant cover as a add-on because he's got a bunch of them. And Jesse asked, do you have any more of the Batvark, A Poet in the Family variant? Because he kind of liked that one. Birdsong came back with, that's from the Hobbs end of the service and help pool. You got to ask him.
That's right. That's right. We've got to be making these distinctions because these guys are now self-publishing in their own little silo. Sorry, I interrupted.
But that's I have to double check the numbers. I haven't been looking because I've been putting the link up, but I'm not riding it as much because I was riding the Steve Peters, which ends today, and he's fully funded. I just looked before the phone call, and he made it. So Tales of Sparky 4 is go. So yay Steve. And James Windsor Smith is doing Papa Balloon and Cactus #3, and that ends the same day as MarvelManVark. And it's like, we really got to start sending emails to each other and going, okay, I'm going to do my Kickstarter in end of September, beginning of October. Anybody else doing them?
Yeah, you can't limit people that way. It's the same as we had no idea that Steve Peters was doing his Kickstarter at the same time that we started this one, and it's like, oh, okay, well, it's going to happen. I mean, part of the idea here is to have self-publishers breed like rabbits, and it is going to be overlap all over the place.
I know,
so
but
go ahead.
I understand there's going to be overlap, but I'm a big fan of let's try to avoid the massive overlap of, the pot's only so big, let's not all stick our hands in at once.
Right. Good luck with that. Okay, then by the fact that Dave sent it to Manley, and therefore he can cut in line because we know about it, we move on to Lank Stevens and his question about working with a background artist. And in parentheses, you have the answer, Lank, is that the background guy does his art after the foreground guy, or you use Photoshop to put the foreground stuff on top of the background. However you, quote, swing, unquote. But here's Dave to read your question and say that in a longer and more detailed way with an actual real-world experience answer. I'm gonna ask here. I did ask if you could. This was posted to the weekly update because Dave Fisher dropped it off. Were you able to contact Lank so that he knows about this, or?
I haven't yet, but now that I know where to look, I will.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just post it as a comment or something, and we'll hope for the best. This one's going to turn into a series anyway. Of since this is, I think, this raises a number of important questions, but we're gonna start with the basics on this one. Blank asks, I've read a question. I've written 43 chapters of what will be a rather long self-published comic book, and I intend to draw the backgrounds while hiring somebody better than me who can render the characters. Could you describe the process when Gerhard and you worked like that on the level of Bristol board or whatever? Did you erase part of Gerhard to layer the characters on top, or ... question mark? Just trying to figure out how I would do such a two-man collaboration. If you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. Okay, we have to, in order to answer this question thoroughly, we have to get back to the essence of the thing terms of the reality of what Lank's talking about doing. Lank, at this point, you're the creator, writer, background artist. So my best initial advice would be get as much done on your side as you can. Now that that's the situation, that's all that exists with this intellectual property is you as creator, writer, background artist, and owner of the intellectual property. Do all 43 chapters if possible. I don't know how long the chapters are, but as many chapters as possible to establish the fact of you being the creator, writer, background artist. That wasn't a planned thing with the Gerhard as collaborator on Cerebus, but it was the situation that I had done 65 or 64 issues of Cerebus solo and was now bringing on a collaborator. That's a very different thing from let's you and me sit down and do a comic book, as was the situation, say, with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's going to simplify matters and help you to get this intellectual property into a state of realism. It actually exists if you make it actually exist, drawing it. It would certainly be odd to do the backgrounds first, but if that's the way you're most comfortable working, it's your book. You're the only one who's working on it right now. The collaborator is theoretical at this point. Assuming you're doing the storytelling and the lettering, and theoretically I'll add in the panel borders and word balloons, it would be a matter of just outlining the characters. The shape of the outline would tell the artist you're going to be hiring what to draw. You can then retouch the outlines, or the artist that you hired to do the characters could do that. That would also tell you what sort of artist you're looking for. Someone who just likes penciling and inking characters with zero interest in writing, lettering, composition, storytelling, photocopy, get it, as I say, get as many pages done as you can on this basis, where you're the guy writing the story, putting the panel borders on, putting the word balloons on, lettering, and inking all of that. Photocopy 10 pages onto illustration board as a tryout. 10 pages would tell he or she and you if you're viable collaborators. Arguably, like picturing this, it would make a good side hustle for someone if they can just bang out pages effortlessly. Unlike work where they're doing everything themselves start to finish in the comic book form. You could be lucky enough to find somebody who's in that situation where they go, if I'm just penciling and inking the characters, I don't have to think about the storytelling. I don't have to think about panel shapes, how many panels are in a board on a page, how many panels I need to get this idea across. I'm not having to worry about any of that. That's all your job as the creator, writer, and background artist. is to establish all of that. You could be very lucky and find somebody who goes, oh, hey, this is fun. I can do like 4 pages a day. I can do 5 pages a day if all I'm doing is penciling and inking the characters. You know, you give me the model sheets of what the characters look like from all the different angles. I can see from the outline how much and what angle you're looking at the character, and kaboom, 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 kaboom. I can get, you know, look at me, I'm Jack Kirby. I can do 5 pages a day. If that is what's destined to happen with this, obviously, the more you have done, the faster it's going to go. If you just get the 10 pages done and give him the tryouts, he's apt to bang out the 10 pages and go, well, come on. Where's the pages up ahead? It's like, well, I haven't got them done yet. Well, come on. It took you a year to find your collaborator. You could have had 50 pages done on your side, and now you're just booting along, and very possibly you could have a monthly comic book out of this. So that's my direct answer to what you're asking me specifically about your situation. Here's where you need to start, and in all capital letters, as emphatically as I can possibly make it. If you're going to do it this way, produce as many pages as you can, whatever you can comfortably do. And I'm assuming that this isn't your job, because you're talking about hiring an artist, which means you have an income from somewhere else. However much of your disposable free time you have, start producing pages and get as much of the 43 chapters down on paper as you can. Let's say that they're 20 pages each. That means it's an 800-page graphic novel. How quickly can you get the 800 pages done so that when you do find your collaborator, as much of the book is done as possible, and you don't have to be worrying about, okay, what happens here? What happens in chapter 20, 21? You're way out ahead of him, and all he's doing is penciling and inking the characters. So that's as emphatic as I can possibly be about. This is a very weird thing that you're asking me. It certainly would be the first of its kind, a comic book written and drawn and composed, and all the backgrounds inked, and the last thing that goes on is the characters. This is the approach that I would say that you need to take.
I'm trying to think. I swear there was a series where it was basically that. The writer, had some artistic chops, but not enough, and he was getting somebody else to do the figures. I don't know, what the process there was, but I'm trying to remember what creator it was or what series it was, and I know there was one. I just can't think of what the title was.
Well, there you go. That's a quiz for the moment. Please hold for DaySim listenership. If you can think what Manly Matt Dow is thinking of, we will send you a prize. Fun prizes.